found the start button.
Oh, look at us. Recording with Amanda as the big boss today.
That's right. I'm the big boy now. Look at me. I'm the captain now. Hello, friends and fiends. Welcome to Bugs Need Heroes, a podcast where an artist and an entomologist team up to illustrate the inspiring abilities of insects by creating new bug-themed superheroes. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Kelly.
Before we get started creating this bug-themed hero, what's bugging you, Kelly?
No, I guess nothing. I got no complaints.
Oh my gosh.
Zero.
What a life.
I know. I mean, I could complain. There's things I could complain about, but it's not worth it. You know. I'm a little chilly. I'm a little chilly. I guess that's my only complaint. My spare bedroom is very cold today.
I gotta tell you, this is a complaint shout out to all realtors across this certainly large nation of ours. Stop getting rid of gloves in January. Stop doing it. I know that this podcast won't come out till like spring. It'll be June before anyone hears this, but it's January here in the past. Well, hello from the past.
What do you mean gloves? Realtors and gloves?
I mean gloves. I went to go purchase some gloves for my little baby angel, my child.
I thought you meant realtor like real estate. I was very confused.
Oh,
where the connection was.
I'm sorry. Maybe I've misspoken somewhere. People who sell things. In this particular case, I'm not sure I want to say the specific people, but they are people who sell specifically child things, and they've used a pun in their name to say goodbye. Bye. And I went to their store and said, hello, do you have any gloves? Because it's January and it is 38 degrees outside. My child needs some gloves for when we go outside. And they said, oh no, we get rid of all our gloves in January. So they only sell gloves in November and December. And then I guess the rest of us just have to freaking freeze from like.
That doesn't make a lot of sense. It's still cold into March.
Yes, it's cold over here. Spring break here. Yeah. And it doesn't make any sense. And it's why I think Christmas is in a bad spot. People think Christmas is in the middle of winter. It is not.
No, it's the beginning of winter.
Christmas is at the beginning of winter. And so people are expecting it to like warm up come January. And I'm like, no, guys, there's like at least 2 more months, if not longer. So that's my complaint, is that people stop selling gloves in January. Don't do that.
So are your children just going to lose their fingers?
I had to go to the finest establishment on this earth, the Costco, and get gloves there.
I don't go to Costco, but I have a friend with the Costco thing because he's got kids. And I can't get over all the stuff that's available at a Costco.
It is overwhelming. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You walk in and you're like, my gosh, this is a lot of stuff. And it's all so big. And there's all so much. My parents went to the Costco and there was a sale on an item that they buy often. And so they bought a lot of it. I was like, my gosh, what are you planning to do with all of this? And they're like, well, we're just going to save it. That they're also a little bit of my dad can't resist a sale. My whole life we've had just stacks and stacks of peanut butter out in the garage because the peanut butter goes on sale. He's like, well, I better get some.
And it stays good forever.
It stays good forever. Yeah. Unless it's got, E. coli in it or something, which sometimes happens with peanut butter. But he is like a squirrel. He just wants to save it all up for a rainy day. You never know when there might be an egg shortage, so I better buy 100 eggs. You never know when there's going to be a peanut butter shortage, so I better buy 100 peanut butters. So there you go, another dad tale for you. My dad's a squirrel, man.
Did you buy a couple pairs of gloves for each kid just in case?
I did not.
Because you went to Costco?
Really, the shocking thing is that I was able to get just a single pair of gloves per child.
I thought it would come in a pack of 10.
For my 100 children that I have because I shop at the Costco.
I guess that's what was bugging you.
I didn't think that was what was bugging me, but it turns out it was what was bugging me. I don't know how much of that will survive to final form because there's a lot of meandering about, but that's fine. Do you have any weekend plans, Kelly?
Well, it's already Saturday, so my weekend is. Oh, I feel like it's half over.
It's here.
Every
half
weekend.
Over. It's Saturday morning. Let's calm down.
I have this bug in my brain, and I've heard that this is kind of an attention deficit disorder thing, where if you have any plans at all, that day basically doesn't exist for you. Correct. And is already over. So because I have the podcast today, I had the gym with my trainer yesterday. I'll have the gym today, which is myself. That means I have no weekend, and it's basically Monday. That's how my brain does.
Mine does that thing where like I have to make an appointment at 3:00, right? I have to be at the doctor's office.
Your whole day is over,
and my whole ruined because I'm stuck in a state of limbo until I get to that doctor's office. I also find this with my alarm. Like I'll set an alarm, and until it goes off, I'm only thinking about that alarm. I'm only thinking about that alarm. I'm
same
only
thing.
Thinking about that alarm. And then it goes off, and like sometimes it'll click okay, that's solved. Like switch in my brain, and like the thing I set the alarm for doesn't get done because I was waiting for the alarm, not for the thing I was going to do when the alarm went off.
I had a conversation with my advisor one day about I think a deadline for something, and I said, well, we'll just say the month was December, and I'm like, well, December is basically over, so I don't have a lot of time to do this. And he's like, Kelly, it's December 4th.
Exactly.
And I go, look, I got this thing happening next week. I got this thing on the weekend. We got booked. Christmas or whatever. I'm like, December's done. December's finished.
I've got no time left for that.
And that's how my brain works. So so the weekend, doing this with you guys. I got the gym with my husband.
The older I get, the less I believe that there are neurotypical people. I think there's no such thing as neurotypical because everyone I know is like, well, no, I'm like, who's out here thriving? Who's out here living, staying in their lane, moisturized?
Oh, I've met neurotypical people. And
I definitely have as well.
What is this world you live in?
I guess what I really mean is the older I get, the more I think neurotypical people are the minority, and that we're all just living in this horrible brain trauma scape. None of us are working correctly. We're all just beat down.
This hellscape of neurons.
Yeah, sure. Exactly. They're all firing, but no one's getting anywhere.
But I'm happy to be recording with you guys as always on the weekend. And we'll play like video games and stuff. What are you doing?
I've been playing so many video games. I gotta stop. I don't have the time to play video games. What we're doing this weekend, my weekend plans.
What's your weekend? Tell me.
So I don't know if I've mentioned this on the podcast before, but during the pandemic, sorry to bring it up, everyone got some new hobbies, right? Everyone creates the guy stay busy. And my husband's thing that he did to stay busy was purchase pizza ovens. So we have
multiple pizza
ovens, and some have come and gone. Some have stayed. I think
your husband likes to cook, right? He's a good cook.
He is a cook, and he professionally works in a kitchen as well. So he likes to cook, which I think I've mentioned before. If you can't cook, find yourself someone who
can. Wait, so how many pizza ovens have come through your home?
Have come through? 7 probably, because he will get one and then say it's not what he wants, and away it goes. Right? He returns it. He's a returner. Speaking of neurotypical behaviors, I can't purchase something and then go, oh, this isn't what I wanted, and then return it to the store. Like that stage never happens. I
live with that thing for the rest of my life.
I guess it's just not what I wanted forever. But he is very capable of getting a thing. This is not what I wanted. Back to the store it goes. So some have been used once, and then said, no, this ain't it. This is not what I was promised. Back to pizza heaven you go. So there's been a couple that have not stayed. But I think right now, it depends on whether you count the barbecue that he like made himself. He bought one of those circular barbecues, and he like, it's a whole thing. But he has like a
Weber. He bought a Weber.
I don't know.
Little coal one. Well, anyway, no. So has he decided on a pizza oven? Is it good now?
He's got 2 that he likes a lot. And
why have two though? What's the difference?
Well, because one's wood burning and one is gas.
Oh, okay.
Obviously.
Oh, I'm a moron. Yes, yes.
I don't understand it either. I've taken a very yes dear approach to it. Hey, can I get
good
this
for
for
you
the
for
pizza
being
oven?
supportive.
Yes, dear. Yes. And he comes to me and he says, I want to buy this pizza oven table, but it's kind of expensive. And I say, yes, dear, you should buy it. Go for it. Be free. So few hobbies this man has. Let him have this pizza oven thing.
Yeah.
But it's finally got a break in the rain today. So we're going to have pizza. We're going to have
that's exciting.
My favorite pizza that he makes is not even a pizza. People would tell me it's not a pizza. It is a chicken pesto creation we call Mama's Besto Pesto.
It sounds delicious. It's
you have
still
to
a
shake
pizza.
your hand like this when you do it. Mama's Besto Pesto.
There's a lot of handshaking going on right now.
It's aggressive. It's an aggressive amount of handshaking. So we're going to eat that. It's going to be delicious. So
that sounds awesome. I think I'm probably just making tacos. Nothing exciting. Certainly not homemade pizza.
But right next to the pizza oven, you know what you'll find, Kelly. You know what you'll find.
Tell me.
You will find a mason bee situation happening. That is where
we have a little house next to the pizza. We
have a little house with all those little holes in it that sometimes triggers that thing that people don't like on the internet for me. I don't even like to say.
Is that trypto?
I think it is. I think it's tryptophobia or something close to that. I don't even like to say it in case my phone hears and starts like giving me like, oh, she might be interested in this because she said that word. Because sometimes it will. Sometimes it.
Oh, I don't like that. Yeah.
Sometimes it decides it's just going to give me a bunch of images that make me want to die right in a row. I'm like, could you not?
Well, I think it's nice you have a little house for the mason bees.
We actually have several little houses, but that's the one that gets action. That's the one that they like. It's near the garden, so I think that's why. But
they don't love pizza.
Oh, girl, do they love pizza? The problem is they probably have to fight the wasps for the pizza.
Yeah. It's a battle.
Mason bee versus wasp. We temporarily had a possum that lived underneath the pizza porch. A possum under the pizza porch. I believe he was also eating pizza scraps.
Probably.
Well, it was over the summer, so we were doing a lot of pizza.
I love a little possum.
They're cute little guys. We called him a bad character because the first time we saw him, oh, this is a little dark. First time we saw him, he was in less than stellar condition, with some blood dripping off of him, and we were like, "Oh no, is he okay? Maybe he won that fight. He's a bad character." So we called him BC for all summer long. Oh, Derek wants to have a. Oh, I thought Derek had a comment about possums. Okay,
he was correcting its trypophobia.
Oh, is it tryptophobia?
Yeah, I thought there was a t in there, but that was my mistake because I don't know my phobias. Apparently,
I don't like it.
Yeah,
honeybees don't usually trigger it. It has to be like irregular.
Does the little mason bee house?
Only occasionally. I don't know what that is. I'm having a bad day that day, and I look at it, and it triggers me. But most of the time, it's fine. I'm not sure why.
If our listeners have never seen a mason bee house, and by the way, mason bees are the topic of today. I don't know if we've made that clear. Can you describe a little bit about what your mason bee house looks like?
So our little house, I would describe it as a bird house where you didn't put the front panel on. The panel with the little hole that the bees get or the birds would get into. So you don't take that in. So it's a little house, triangle top, 3 walls, base. And then you put a bunch of, I think ours is bamboo, but anything that's hollow, a long hollow tube, and you stack them all in there until it's completely full. And then the bees come along and they say, "This looks like a good place to build our foundation." And then they live in there. And this is just my observations, is that they seal up the tubes. I assume that there's bebés in the tubes once they've sealed them up, but I don't know.
No, you wouldn't seal up an empty tube, right?
Right. That's my thought. I don't know. Maybe they're like fermenting wine in there or something. Maybe they're fancy.
Well, sometimes it's tubes, and sometimes you can get them where you can just drill holes into a wooden block or something.
Yeah.
As long as they have individual chambers. So mason bees, they're genus. This is one of my favorite little. We'll start with a little cute mason bee fact here. It's genus Osmia, and Osmia is the Greek word for. Do you know? Sometimes for odor. Osmia
Like
is odor.
my osmus or something like that is supposed to be like a bad odor.
There's been like a few. Yeah, there's been like a few. I don't know how to.
Maybe I'm thinking
say
of
it.
miasma.
I think you're thinking of miasma.
I think I am.
But so each individual little mason bee or leafcutter bees, because they're in the same genus, will mark the entrance to their little nest cavity with a lemon scent. They all smell like lemons.
That is so cute. I'm sorry. I don't even like lemons, and that's cute as heck. I love an animal that smells. There's like that one like bear cat that smells like popcorn.
Oh yeah.
A skunk, of course, smells like a skunk.
This is lemon. This is lemon fresh.
We want lemon
at the entrance of all
fresh.
And each lemon scent is slightly different, so the bees know where their specific chamber is. There was a study done where they used straws, like bamboo straws, and they moved them around, and the bees went immediately to their individual chamber. So that individual scent lets them know it's their house.
Signature scent.
Signature lemon scent. It's very
like,
cute.
Chanel No. 5. That's my hole. That's the one I like.
And even fancier, some species of bee, like Osmia avicetta, which are found in like Turkey, Iran, Syria, they line the inside of those little tubes with flower petals.
I'm sorry. Are you telling me that this bee is like a cottagecore bee? This bee, she fancy, the fanciest of bees.
It's very cottagecore.
Very cottagecore.
Lemon scented, lined with flowers in your own little bee house.
She's cutting up a strawberry like a little ham. I think we've discussed our love of small animals using human things to live human lives. Use a comb as a ladder, that sort of stuff.
They're great. They're really, really wonderful.
Well, I have to put her in a Sentai suit so she matches the rest of the bees.
How do you draw a cottagecore?
Right?
Bee.
Like, do I give her like
what is our superhero gonna look like?
Well, based on name alone, I kind of want to give her some sort of big hammer. Big hammers being a trope of superhero or just characters in general. Tiny girl with big hammer has become its own thing.
Oh, has it? Oh, yeah. You know what? It reminds me of the new Witcher.
Yeah.
She's got that pretty big hammer.
Yeah, the hammers I'm thinking, Harley Quinn has like an oversized, it's kind of that.
We don't want to confuse them though with our buddies, the carpenter bees.
Oh my gosh,
I think a carpenter bee would have like the hook hammer in the back used to pry nails up.
Right, exactly.
And a little belt loop.
Hammer. Yeah. Oh my gosh, a carpenter bee in little carpenter pants. Do you remember the 90s when we all wore carpenter pants?
Yes, I do.
And they had that loop on them for your hammer. When I was a child, what was I gonna loop?
I remember my friend's kid when he was little had those little pants, and we put a little plastic kid's hammer in the belt in the loop, and he'd walk around with it. Very cute.
This, again, a slight aside. My father, who we've mentioned several times on the cast, a very handy.
Your father, friend of the pod,
friend of the podcast. My dad. He's a very handy person. He puts up drywall and fixes cars and ruins vacuums by taking them apart and then not being able to put them back together. Typical dad stuff.
Heterosexual dad.
Just living that dad life for sure. He's walking around here wearing graphic tees that say things about being a grandpa. So he is a very handy person, and I am not a handy person at all. And my husband is not a very handy person at all. So all the pressure is on my dad to teach my son how to be a handy person. And so far, he's been into it. He would love carpenter pants where he got to carry around his little hammer. He has probably 5 toy hammers that he just uses around the house. I'll find him, and he's got his little hammer, and he's hammering something, going out loud. He says, "Fix, fix, fix," as he hammers stuff. Pretty typical kid stuff.
Yeah.
He's got
very cute
Black & Decker drill sets in plastic so that he can drill. He loves it. And Grandpa's out there. It's up to you to teach the children, so we don't all have to live in little pig style stick houses, because our houses have fallen apart and we don't know how to fix them. Shout out to Derek, whose house is falling apart as we speak. From the Derek. Bottom up, from the water damage up.
Derek's house has become a swamp.
Yeah, he's living a Shrek lifestyle now.
Yeah.
Every time I go over to his house, he goes, "What are you doing in my swamp?" Well, and then he chases me around.
If Derek were living in a Mason bee house, though, he'd be up off the ground.
If he had lived
and would not have to worry.
I would argue that you live in a Mason bee house.
A little, yeah, I do. I live in an apartment building, and every individual apartment is just like a little Mason bee house. It's
you
true.
Need to spray your door with lemon zest.
I do.
So you know that this one's your house.
Well, our floor cleaner is pretty lemon scented.
That's the power of Pine Sol, baby.
It is. It kind of works. I think we have like Method or something. Whatever's at the grocery store.
Well, as someone who's allergic to lemons, nothing in my house is lemon scented.
Unlike the Mason bee, though, I don't have any larvae in my house unless you count my cats.
You have not sealed. Oh, you could seal one of them up in a room if you want.
They would love it. They want to be in this room where I am right now. They're very upset.
Well, let me tell you, not different from the children. They also want to be in the room where I'm trying to do things.
Well, I think the neat part about Mason bees, and at least the way that how they deal with their kiddos, their little Mason bee kiddos, is the female will lay them. So like we're picturing that long straw piece, right? I'm like making a straw with my hands that only Amanda can see.
I think how big would you say? Because I would say boba straw sized, if that means anything to you listening.
Yeah, about that size opening. Sometimes a little smaller.
How big is the bee, I guess, is the natural question.
Only like 3/8 to 5/8 inch. If you can picture that, tiny.
So
they're little.
Littler than, because we've said that the honeybee was quite small. Littler than a honeybee. Okay,
yeah,
okay.
And they'll lay their eggs in the back, but they lay the female eggs first. And each little eggie gets a little bit of food, and then she seals that egg up with the food with a little bit of mud, which is where they get the word Mason, the nickname Mason. They're using mud.
Okay, okay.
And they lay all their eggs until the front, and the front eggs are the males, because you want the males to come out first and hang out and buzz about, waiting for the female.
I thought it was if something attacks, you sacrifice the male ones first.
I mean, that could also be a pretty good plan. Do we want to? I guess I'll tell you about their little life cycle, because it's kind of neat. So they lay their eggs around like April, May, end of May, depending on what part of the country you're in, what part of the world you're in, I guess I should say. But for here, April, May. And then in June, the eggs hatch into larvae, and they eat the pollen and the nectar, little snackies that mom left for them. And then by July, they start to become pupae. We love pupae. I think a lot of our bugs so far have gone through complete metamorphosis into a pupa.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, the dragonfly had more of a gradual. Right.
Yep, dragonfly was incomplete.
Yeah. Other than that, I think we've pretty much pupated the whole time.
There's been lots of pupae talk going on.
Pupay.
And then by August, they're adults. But August is not a good time to come out as an adult, because then you have to deal with the winter, right? And no one wants to be a bug in the wintertime.
Nobody.
Especially not a tiny little mason bee. So they remain dormant and kind of hibernate until spring. And then once March rolls around and it's a little bit warm, then they come out and the life cycle begins again. But all of this really takes place in those sweet little mason bee houses, or they make their own chambers in other things too. Like they don't need us to give them a mason bee house. Yeah.
But I mean, but birds
nice.
Also don't need us, but if we're gonna provide one, they might as well use it.
Yeah. It's a really nice way to attract them to your yard. You can get lots of different designs for your mason bee house. Other insects will use them too. It's not just the mason bees, so you'll get like some pretty good diversity going on. And mason bees are excellent little pollinators. So the blue orchard mason bee is named for its pollinating of agricultural orchards, and they're super efficient. I think we dunked on honeybees last time too during the bumblebee episode.
Yeah,
but mason bees too are excellent little native pollinators. So they're pretty good.
Sorry, I'm quickly Googling mason tools to see what kind of tool we can give her.
So, I think the fun part about, while they're pollinating, you've watched bees pollinate, right? You've watched them go into plants and
They
collect.
wiggle themselves in there. If they're the bumblebee, they give a little buzz. That they puff all the pollen everywhere.
Yeah, and they collect that pollen in their pollen baskets on the side of their little leggies. Mason bees are so cute. They belly flop.
What? Why are these bees so cute?
They do a straight belly flop into the flower because their pollen basket, and you're gonna have to draw this. I'm not the artiste. On the superhero, their pollen baskets are on their little abdomens, so they've got a little fanny pack.
Oh my gosh, this cottagecore queen is wearing a fanny pack. This woman is, I say woman, because we're talking about lady bees. It's just so, she's so, a millennial is not, what's the next one down? Gen Z. She's wearing carpenter pants. She's got a fanny pack on. She's cropping her toppins. I don't know. We haven't said that she's cropping her toppins.
She definitely is wearing a crop top.
I'm assuming she's wearing a crop top. I'm picturing her filming a TikTok in a field of flowers, and then going home to her tiny little flopping into. She's rolling about in the flowers. What a cutie! Oh man, between her and Bumblebee,
I know. I feel like her and Bumblebee might be dating.
Oh my gosh! Oh, what a lovely couple! Right? So cute.
It's gonna be adorable.
Wholesome as heck. Because I feel like we were very aggro with both honeybee, because who are you gonna get stung by? It's a bee. I'm sorry. These are the facts. And then we had and
the yellow jacket.
Jacket, and those two were very aggro. Those two were ready to fight anyone that came down. Yes.
Well, just like Bumblebee, our mason bee also does not like to sting. She does not sting.
She's a gentle babe.
There have been, to my knowledge, like no fatalities due to mason bee stings. You gotta really try to get a mason bee to sting you, like squeeze it, just like our friend the bumble. And when they do sting you, I've read that it feels just a little itchy. It's really not even that bad. I feel like they sting and then immediately apologize.
Yeah.
And we talked a little bit about their, I talked a little bit about their pollinator efficiency. So if we want to compare them to our honeybees, it takes about 360 honeybees to pollinate a single fruit tree, but this work can be done by 6 mason bees. So wow. She is efficient. Efficiency.
She's the best out there. Dang. Okay, so I
support your local pollinators. That's what it comes down to.
We are a pollinator positive podcast. So I said that we should give her a hammer because of Mason, but now I'm thinking maybe we should just straight up give her nature powers, because she has this beautiful lemon scent. Yeah. She's very efficient with the flowers.
She lines her home
belly flopping into them. So maybe we just give her gardener powers, and that way she can continue to have that sort of trowel mud.
Yeah, because she needs a trowel if she's
she's got to have the trowel. She's a mason bee. So if I give her a tool belt, I haven't given anyone else a tool belt, so let's give her a tool belt.
You can even order mason bees online if you want them in your home, or if you I don't think they sell them at like Home Depot, but
I'm googling now.
There might be like little local places you can buy them, but you could definitely order them. And as always, if you're going to order bees or ladybugs or anything for your garden, please make sure they're the species that is supposed to be in your area.
I Googled it just now. Buy mason bees. I typed
You
in.
did?
And the Audubon Portland will help you get mason
wonderful.
bees. So at least in my area, you can get local bees.
Local bees?
I mean, I'm assuming I trust the Audubon Society.
I'm sure where I am in the New York City area, we can also purchase mason bees.
Wow, here's a picture of someone just holding.
Oh, you just hold them. They're so cute.
Holding about 100 bees in their little hand right here.
They're great, aren't they? We got my dad a mason bee house one year for Father's Day, and they put it in the backyard. I don't know what came of it, but my dad likes to garden, so I always get him garden-related things for holidays.
Hold on. I'm just going to take a pause here to do some quick sketching so I'm caught up on where we're at.
Hey there.
Hello.
How's it going?
I am drawing bee helmets. So to catch you up, we've given her kind of that classic, I've got one hand raised because I'm using my flower powers, which is always fun to say. And then I've given her a mighty tool belt.
How mighty is it?
I mean, I haven't added that many pockets to it. I need to add more pockets to it. I'm not sure how to show more pockets without.
Have you added the fanny pack?
The fanny pack is front and center, as it should be. I'm also going to give her a loop on each side of her leg so that she can carry around her hammer in more than just one location. I've also given her a trowel in the other hand, and I've tried to make it kind of stingery shaped. She'll whack you with her trowel. I've given her kind of medium length antenna, but I quickly looked up a picture of a mason bee, and I kind of made her antenna stick to the sides a little bit.
Okay.
But it has given her a very, very bug-like appearance. Somehow those antennae being to the side has really made her look very buggy. And I tried to give her big, round eyes.
Aww.
To show that she's a gentle spirit. And then I'm not sure how to. I mean, part of me just wants to make her full cottagecore, but I'll resist for now. Give her a little sweater with a bunny on it. And we'll try to make her tiny because you said she's quite small.
Yeah, she's pretty small.
Let me pull up how big Honeybee is and then make her smaller than that. Okay, so she has these mud. She makes mud and puts it over her little home for the babies to live in. The queens do not overwinter, I think is what we decided. They just leave behind snackies for the next generation.
Sometimes you got to leave a snack.
For your children, I need a snack. So I'm trying to think of any other elements that we've discussed so far that I need to incorporate. They're not very stripy, the bee. I think it'd be really easy, at least the ones I'm seeing here, to confuse it for a fly if I was outside.
Yeah, I would say they're not quite as.
Speaking of flies, Kelly, did you know that bees have 4 wings?
Yes, they do.
I know this seems so odd. The buggy people listening right now are like, Amanda, you're on a bug podcast and you didn't know that bees specifically have 4 wings? And apparently 4 wings is the standard and 2 wings is the deviation. Kelly. Yes. I was watching. This is how I found out. Not on the podcast, mind you. I was watching Sesame Street.
Okay.
Because that's my life, you know. It's a lot of blue cartoon dogs and Sesame Street. And they had a little iconographic of a bee, and it had 4 wings. And here's myself sitting on the couch going, who didn't do their research for this bee? It has 4 wings. Sesame Street, get it together. But then I thought to myself, Amanda, you've been wrong about bees before. Get on Google. So I Googled, and it turns out that they have 4 wings. And the Sesame Street guy was right. 'Twas I who was wrong.
This is one of those instances where I just assumed You knew
Assume?
that bees had 4 wings.
You know what happens when you assume, Kelly.
Make it out of both of us.
Out of you and me. That's how you spell assume. ASSUME.
So flies are dipterans, which means they have 2 wings.
My gosh. My gosh.
There are 2 wings. Or if we are Captain Picard, there are 4 lights.
There are 4 lights.
4 wings on this bee.
You're already drinking your Earl Grey tea. Man, you're having a very Picardish day.
I am.
No complaints. Lots of tea. And now 4 lights.
4 lights, Earl Grey. That's what
Be
we're
careful.
doing.
Some space entity is going to come start harassing you for fun. So they have 4 wings, but to my eyes, they're like basically piled on top of each other. So this looks like 2 wings to me.
A little tucked under. I mean, beetles have 4 wings too. Those hard outer wings are still wings, even though they don't fly.
They count as wings. They're not.
Yes. Yeah.
Exoskeleton.
No, those are wings.
See, it's all you bug people are trying to trick me. That's what I think. I blame the bug people.
It's my fault for assuming that this was common knowledge.
It's not.
It's me being a bad teacher. I take full responsibility.
It's very possible that people listening to this are going, yeah, of course they have 4 wings. Have you ever really looked at a bee? But I feel like I've been looking at bees my whole life and have just straight up never noticed that there was a second pair of wings underneath.
They're tucked. I'm like looking at a bunch of photos of little mason bees now.
Yeah, see now I'm looking at photos right now, and still to my eyes it looks like 2 wings.
So I mean, sometimes mason bees can also be kind of metallic in color if you want to make her a little fancy.
I should make her shiny.
It's like green and blue.
Yeah.
Not just the darker color.
So the bumblebee pretty much came in fuzzy black and yellow. But the mason bee has a little bit more variety in how she looks. Like this one looks like the red mason bee.
Mm-hmm.
Does not look dissimilar from a pipe cleaner to me. The amount of fuzz. But she's kind of got like stripes of fuzz. It's like fuzz, not fuzz. Fuzz, not fuzz. And then, like you said, there's a green
the red
one,
mason bee is a very fancy fuzz pattern.
Very fancy fuzz
on the
pattern.
Abdomen. Very, very pretty.
But like this one's very green. It's not even. I think that's why I think I would confuse it for a fly, because a lot of times flies have that
metallic green color,
green color to them.
And those are the flies you kind of want to avoid. We'll probably cover this in another episode, but there's also flies that resemble bees, and we call them flower flies or bee flies.
And they're attempting to look like bees so that other people will leave them alone. Other bugs will leave them alone.
Birds, maybe, yeah. Well, we should do maybe a whole episode on mimicry and camouflage and stuff. That would be fun.
Oh yeah, that'd be good. Because there's like those praying mantises that look like flowers. Those ones are the ones that have always like really fascinated me. Like, how does that happen? But we're getting off topic here. So mason bee, she's not very stripy. So what patterns can we give her to make her still part of the bee team?
I don't know. You are the artiste.
Yeah. You're like, Amanda, this is like your one job. This is to show up and draw.
I don't know. I mean, sometimes I have a little bit input, but not in this case. Well, my only input requirement was the fanny pack. All I wanted.
Well, let's see. I think we got to give her some stripes because she's still a member of the B team. And I've tried not to do too much striping with the B team because I didn't, want to fall into cliche. But we got to give her at least a little.
She does not have a barbed stinger, so she can repeatedly sting, even though she never will because she's nice and sweet.
Because she's a nice girl.
So you can give her like a little gun, a little sting gun.
Well, I've got her trowel in her hand.
That would be like a nail gun, I guess. Considering she's a mason bee.
She's so handy.
You give her a little nail gun that shoots stingers.
That is so cute. I don't know why this bee is really striking me as a cute little friend today.
I really love the bumblebee, and I think mason bee is your bee, Amanda. I think we found your bee.
Mm-hmm. She's the one.
The blue orchard is one I think we have over here. If you haven't looked at that one yet.
The blue is so blue. I feel like bugs really corner the market on blue. There's a couple of blue birds. Don't get me wrong. There's some blue birds, but there's like no blue mammals,
No.
I guess, other than the blue whale. But even then, he's not really blue.
Kind of blue.
He's kind of blue. And but how much of that is I'm seeing him in
plenty of
this?
blue colored fish.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I take it back then. I guess they're not cornering the market on blue. It's really just us lame mammals that aren't blue.
Well, if you remember that blue is just a reflective light.
Right. We discussed that.
We don't have the correct properties to reflect light in that way, but scales do. So that's why we get blue insects and blue fish and, and feathers, that kind of thing. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm just thinking of feathers as very large scales.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Kind of. They kind of are. They kind of are just big scales.
I love this little red mason bee and how fuzzy she is.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, they really are really red and really blue and really green. I'm just wondering how we can incorporate that. I mean, short of giving her beautiful flowers that come in many colors, but that's not really her. How tall are gardening boots? Are they like hiking boots?
It depends. So gardening boots can be more like hiking-ish boots, or they can be knee-high. Kind of depends on what you're doing.
We did thigh high, like the highest of thighs for Yellow Jacket. We did knee high for Bumblebee, and we did just above the ankle.
We could give her like ankly boots. You think?
Let's give her some.
Think of her cottagecore vibes, and what would?
You're right. You're absolutely right. And they need to be like those little Victorian boots.
Yes.
That the cottagecores love. I'm not saying they're wrong. I also love vintagey boot.
My husband calls them witch boots. He does not care for them.
Oh, really? I like them.
Yeah.
I like you guys are closer to Salem, so you've got more to fear.
Yeah. He's also from Massachusetts, so
the fear has been instilled in him. What a proper boy. What a proper little witch fear boy. Part of me wants to give her the Pink Ranger skirt. What are your thoughts?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. And it kind of fits with the vibe.
I always thought the Pink Ranger skirt was very, very funny.
Yeah. Should it be a little pleated because of our...
if we pleat it, we're getting dangerously close to blending in Sailor Moon elements. But I guess we've kind of already been doing that anyway.
Isn't that a little bit of the vibe of the B team?
Yeah, you're right. Let's pleat it up. We're pleating.
Or even just a couple pleats in the front. The whole thing doesn't have to be pleated.
Okay, we'll give her 2 pleats.
If that makes sense. I'm trying to picture a specific skirt.
No. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's kind of it's more of a schoolgirl skirt.
I think so.
Less than a sailor skirt. It has the 2 big pleats. And there we go. And those can serve as stripe analogs as well.
So we always talk about the members of the B team, where our friend Bumble was the heart. So what is the Mason bee?
Well, because we kind of blended the girl and the heart in one, the chick, as they call it. So 5-man band, that would make her the smart one, I think, is what's left.
Okay.
The technologist,
I could see that.
Donatello, I'm trying to think of other examples of it. So 5-man band is typically big guy, leader, smart guy, lancer, and chick. So I would say Mason Bee needs to be our smart guy, given that we've given her some tools to use. We have given her also like nature powers, but that doesn't have to be exclusive.
No,
you can be smart and have nature powers.
It still works.
So we can kind of make her the buildy technologist. She builds stuff, whatever they need. She builds the Megazord for them to hop into when they have to fight a really big bad guy. We decided she was wearing... Ooh. I tried to give her a crop top just now, and it made her look a little bit too cheerleadery.
Okay, we can cut the crop top then.
No crop tops.
If it's not working.
Yeah, I'm concerned now that the skirt is giving cheerleader vibes rather than I'm a cute little friend vibes. I think we might have to ditch the pleats.
Yeah, that's fine.
Go back to the... What do you call it?
The flat skirt in the front.
The flat skirt.
Would a tunic be better?
Yeah, I just think of cottagecore. I think of those
like a belted tunic.
Yeah, belted long shirt dress. She's got the belt. She certainly has that.
Belted with a fanny pack. It's perfect.
A little bit of stripes to show that she can come in other colors. Yeah. I think the pink ranger skirt's the way to go.
It's working. All right, perfect.
So is there anything else about mason bees that I desperately need to know? They're super efficient pollinators. They're in your house. They don't want to sting you. Is there anything particular that they're really helpful to? The way that like bumblebees are always in these plants that need buzzed until they.
Not really. I mean, we find them a lot in like I said, some of them are in like fruit tree orchards, kind of a situation. But they're all over the place in your yard, and they don't have they're not. No, I'm just rambling.
They're kind of a rambling podcast, right? So I'm looking at this picture of the blue mason bee in particular, and she has these 3 little dots at the top of her head. I know we've talked before about. I think I referred to them as primitive eyes, and you told me stop doing that. But they were like motion darkness detectors. Darkness detectors.
Right.
Is that still these?
Yeah, those are called ocelli, and a lot of insects have these 3 lenses. They're lensed eyes on top of their heads, and they're simple lenses, so it's just one lens. Yeah, we try not to use the word primitive for things because just because something evolved first or earlier doesn't necessarily make it primitive.
I haven't checked recently, but I know art history has a similar issue in referring to things that are more. I mean, simple is the word that we try to avoid. But when you're talking about, they call it primitive art.
Yeah,
I'm like, this is made by someone in 2022. You could not call it primitive art, actually.
It's a slippery slope to pretending like we are more. I hear this a lot from folks too, that we are more evolved than the bee or the shark or whatever, and we are not more evolved. We evolved in a different direction, and that's the better way to think about it. So the ocelli are just different eyes, and they detect light. So when something flies over the top of her cute little head and blocks out the light, those eyes pick up that movement, and it helps her avoid predators coming from above, which is something you really have to worry about as an insect because everything is basically above you because you're so tiny. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and we talked before about how that's how the fly. This reminds me, and maybe the mason bee is one of them, but humans, speaking of evolutions we do or do not have, we don't feel wet. We only feel temperature.
Oh, we feel cold, right?
Yeah. So we can tell something's wet because it's a different temperature than the things around it. And assumably there's also visual cues. So sometimes when you step on something cold in the middle of the night, you think, I stepped on something wet, but really it was just a quarter on the ground or whatever.
Yeah, yep. I've definitely done that before. I stepped on something cold and assumed.
But at least exactly. Especially when you got cats in the house. You just gotta
Oh boy.
Oh boy. But some insects, I think spiders specifically, which is an arachnid, not an insect.
Yes. Good, you're learning.
I'm learning. I knew that one. I came to the cast knowing that one at least. But some little friends, whatever they may be, can detect wetness rather than temperature.
So some arthropods are they need to be in humid places. So they have to be built to detect humidity, because if they're in a place that's too dry, they'll desiccate, which means they'll dry out. And then they will die.
Like a worm on the sidewalk.
So they need to detect humidity because it's very important to their bodies functioning properly. Good point, Amanda. Good bringing it up.
I read it somewhere the other day and I was like, what?
Were you excited to talk about it?
I was excited to talk about that and the too many wings. Or dare I say too few wings to me.
The perfect amount of wings.
What is the perfect amount of wings?
I don't have any, so I'm not there.
Yeah, you're not there. 0 is not the correct amount of wings.
Wingless. And I think we talked about this in the mosquito episode. So dipterans no longer have 4 wings. They have 2 wings. And that second set of wings has turned into these tiny little sort of gyroscopic sensors on their body that lets them know what direction the wind is blowing. And I think they sense humidity too. So they descended, their common ancestor with other insects had 4 wings, and then they evolved away from the four-wing structure to build these secondary structures.
So they still kind of have 4 wings, but those
they have a
second
spot
wings
that
have
used to be a second pair of wings, and
right.
It's not quite that anymore.
But it's not, what's the word, vestigial?
It's not vestigial. No, it has a
because
purpose.
They still have a purpose.
Right.
Whereas humans have some vestigial traits. I'm trying to think of, like, some people, I do, have like a notch on their ear that's like where the muscle used to attach so you could move your ears or something like that. I don't know if that's technically true. I just know that that's what I've heard.
I don't know. I've never.
It's like right here. Let me show you because you're on the right here. There's a bump right here on the edge of my ear. I don't know if you can see it because
I can't quite see it, but it's a bump on your ear. What is it? It was supposed to do something?
Okay, let's take a fun little dive into the Google man. The Google machine says vestigial ear muscles. Yeah.
Oh, did our ears used to move?
Our ears used to move more.
Oh.
And the muscle to make that happen still exists. And some people still have the little
Can some people make their ears move now?
I've seen people be able to wiggle them perpendicular to the rest of their body, but I've never seen anyone try to wiggle them another direction.
To me, that sounds like perhaps a part of your jaw where you might be able to do something like that, right?
But the vestigial ear muscles has returned many an article about.
I know
about ears.
I know far less about humans than I do other organisms.
Same. Humans, what an enigma.
My husband makes fun of me all the time. He's like, you don't know anything about your own body, but you know so much about all these other animals' bodies. And I'm like, yeah.
Well, as a human woman, you're not allowed to know about your body.
It's called being female.
Sorry. That's the rules.
Oh. So tell me about the drawing.
Okay, so I've given her a fun scarf because I felt like she needed a fun scarf.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to find ways to incorporate her flower powers more, but I'm not sure. I've given her some stripes on her upper body to kind of replicate a sweater motif.
Oh, I like it.
Again, I'm trying to keep those cottagecore elements in as much as I can because it delights me.
Oh yeah, she could have that kind of druid vibe from D&D.
Oh yeah, that's true. But we were kind of going for like that Zentai aesthetic of Power Rangers. I can't wait to have all of them in the same image.
Oh, I'm excited for the final image with the whole B team.
Oh yeah, we got one more. The big guy, I think, is what's left.
I believe we're doing the cicada killer for the big guy.
We are doing the cicada killer, which I'm very excited for because I don't know about them at all.
I get text messages from friends and friends of friends in the spring and summertime. What is this monster in my yard? And it's always a cicada killer. Always.
See, I know nothing because we don't have cicadas, and so we have nothing to kill them.
Yeah, I guess they're just an eastern species.
I think we technically have some, but they're like,
what are they munching on? Yeah, I don't know what you got over there on the West Coast, but I'll figure it out.
They're not prevalent. They're not part of the screaming that happens every 17 years or something. The trees come alive.
Well, cicadas come out every year. There's just certain broods that come out every within timed intervals.
Right.
But there are yearly cicadas as well.
There's like I don't know. Wasn't there a couple years ago there was like a super cicada thing where a bunch of them had all emerged at once, like multiple types.
Yeah.
So
it was right around my my nephew's wedding, and it was
was it an outdoor wedding?
It was. Or no, not his wedding. It was when we went out that way for a rafting trip in Idaho. Because I've only been out west to visit my husband's family twice. So I think that was for the rafting trip, not the wedding. But they were everywhere.
We love a rafting trip.
Yeah.
But I don't like getting cold. So I don't like
we went in July. So it was pretty warm.
Well, the problem is, around here at least, the big rafting river, the chutes, the Descahutes, is it's glacial fed. So even in the summer, it's freezy cold. So you're sitting in the boat and you're dying. You're burning up. You're getting sunburns on the top of your head. The part of your hair has become sunburned because you didn't wear a hat. And then you fall in the water and it like takes your breath away.
Oh yeah.
Because of how cold it
That
is compared to
shock.
how hot. Yeah. The last time I went, 2 dude bros, you know the kind who do
Yes.
who do rafting trips all summer long, bruh. And 2 of them helped me get my life jacket on, and they had a competition to see who could get it strapped in first. And so they both just pulled it as tight as they could.
Oh.
And like 10 minutes later, I was passing out because my life vest was so tight.
It's
and they're
crushing
like,
you.
But the part that made me upset was that they're like, get in the river, you're overheating. And you gotta drink water. You gotta drink water. And I was like, bruh, this isn't water. This is I can't breathe because you've strapped me into this life vest so tight,
Right.
you know, because you guys weren't paying attention to how tight it was on me. You were just trying to get it.
And
You were just trying to race each other.
They don't have the chests that we have that
Correct.
are crushing.
And I know
that
the listener cannot see me. So let me just say, these ladies came in when I was about 12.
Oh boy. And
they are
Amanda is gifted in the chest area.
Very gifted. They're fulsome, we'll say.
So I can imagine a life jacket being incredibly uncomfortable.
Oh yeah, I mean, I can't crawl anywhere underneath beds.
What?
I'm not a tight spaces girl.
What a problem to have. I do not have that problem. I'm a little jealous.
Don't be. They're horrible. Yeah, it's kind of one of those. It's like straight hair, curly hair. If you have straight hair, you wish you had curly hair. If you have curly hair, you wish you had straight hair.
Are we almost ready for the reveal?
Almost.
I'm excited. It's going to be hard to top Bumble though with that beard under the mask.
Bumble's so good. It's hard to get better than. I mean, he's just so like
and
jaunty
his pose
and fun.
And he was very cute.
Posing was not her strong suit. I get this feeling she's a little shy. She's a little bit to herself. She just wants to like be with her flowers and exchange loving glances, maybe poems. She seems like a person who uses postcards still. She sends you like
she writes you handwritten notes.
Yeah, exactly. Like with like hand pressed flowers between the pages of a book. Cottagecore.
My one I forgot, I don't know if it was for my birthday or maybe anniversary, but my husband bought me a flower press for as a gift, and I have many pressed flowers. I don't know what to do with them. I put them in a book. I've like, been gluing them into a book and writing what genus and species they are because I'm a nut job. And it's been kind of nice. I got to do that again this spring. It's been a while.
So I'm in many a craft corner, but one of the crafts I saw recently that made me think of you actually was someone had hand stitched different types of flowers.
Oh, I would love it.
Yeah.
I can't do it, but I would love if someone did it for me.
Yeah, hand stitching is not something I'm very good at. I'm going to give this to you guys half lined because my Photoshop's being a little weird. I think it's because my Surface needs to restart. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to give it to you half inked.
That's fine.
But yeah, yesterday I saw, and something I always want to do is like watercolor butterflies. And then I remember I'm not very good at drawing butterflies. Like every time I try, they're like not quite right. And I'm like, oh man, why am I no good at this?
I'm surprised you can't draw. I'm surprised. I just assume, Amanda, you are excellent at drawing everything. I do. That's not even fast. That's how I feel.
Well, I'm mostly good at drawing Disney princesses. That's where it's at. I mean, I do a lot of comic stuff. I do this obviously, but even these are just, I just don't want people to judge my artistic performance on these sketches that take, a half hour while we're doing a podcast.
I do think one day when the B team is fully assembled and maybe we have some villains set up, We make a little comic book.
I'd love to do a comic book. I'd love to just do like a splash page, like a cover image with all the bee team.
Like a little poster, sort of.
Yeah.
We could do that one day, I think.
Someday. These are big dreams for our little podcast that our moms listen to.
When we have more than 20 listeners. That would be great. Oh, look at how cute Mason Bee is. I love it.
I tried to make her small, kind of unassuming, tried to keep as much cottagecore vibe as I could while still keeping her in the skin tight helmet suit. I'll have to finish inking her after I restart my computer. Is there any to run over her powers? We gave her a trowel that she uses. I assume it can I don't know.
Oh, producer Derek is making a good recommendation for the 3 little ocelli.
Oh, yes. Let's add those right now.
Because they're so visible on them.
Yeah. But, we gave her the trowel that I assume kind of periscopes open into a larger hitting weapon. Kind of the way that Honeybee has the stinger trident.
Oh, perfect.
We gave her some flower powers. So far, all of our bees have had a certain amount of shimmer power just because they just kind of shimmer all at each other. Gave her a scarf to try and keep her more, I don't know,
it is very cute
vibes.
Yeah, it's not so much a cape, it's just a nice little scarf.
Just a scarf. I don't often want to draw their civilian forms, but this is one where I'm really interested in what she'd be like as a civilian. Like, what's she like underneath that helmet?
She's adorable.
She's a gentle soul, I think, this Mason Bee.
Oh, definitely.
And is she named Mason?
Oh, yes, she is.
Yes, her actual name is just Mason. But it's spelt in a kooky way, because they always are. My sister had a teacher in elementary school whose name was like legitimately Sunshine Rainbow.
Really?
And it was like, yeah. And it was like, oh, wow, your parents really did that to you, huh? Wow, that's a whole name.
Like, I guess you can go by Sunny? I'm trying to you'd have to make a nickname out of it.
I think she did go by, she might have gone by Shine.
Or Rain. Maybe Rain.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't have her. Chelsea had her. Shout out to Chelsea.
Does Chelsea listen to the cast?
I believe she does. I believe she is one of our most loyal listeners.
Hi, Chelsea. Thank you.
Hi, Chelsea, and Chelsea only. Just kidding. Hi, Emily. Emily is her daughter, who also listens. But she, like us, has a touch of the ADDs. And I listen to the same things over and over again. I can't listen to the podcast over and over again because I just listen to my own voice and go, I don't really sound like that, do it? But Chelsea is capable of listening to the episodes multiple times. So shout out to Chelsea for bumping our numbers every now and then.
It's nice. It's nice to have repeat listeners. Well, so let's go with how many legs would you give them?
She's just so cute. She's just so cute and helpful to me personally. Oh, she does not make honey, which...
No, she does not make honey. She gives her babies nectar and pollen.
Right. And seals them up in a tube. As all mothers can relate to. We just want them sealed up in a tube. Leave me alone for 5 minutes. So she's not as helpful to me personally as the honeybee, which is always high on my scale of legs.
But you do like her enough where you've given her an entire home. You have a little Mason Bee home.
That's true. I do provide her a home because I want her to come to my garden. I want her to make my tomatoes grow and my squashes grow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go ahead and 6 her. She's a 6 out of 6.
6. Wow.
I think she's dead useful. She's way more productive than the honeybee. Honeybee's wasting time out there in those orchards. Not Mason Bee. She's getting straight to the point. Her and her, what was it, 6?
She's a doer.
Her 5 friends are getting through here. She's the smarts of this team. No wonder she can get through the trees so quickly, or the pollination so quickly, because she's working smarter, not harder.
She definitely is.
Wasting time dancing for her friends like some bees. I think it's interesting that they don't really seem to. I don't know. I think the honeybee is very social because they all live in that same hive. So they're all interacting with each other all the time. But if everyone goes home to their own little tube,
Yeah, they're not social. There's no real interaction.
Yeah, they're just living in their own little apartment buildings. I don't know. Something about that is that they're capable of all living in this same little spot, but they're not all in each other's business all the time. Like, she's a sensible bee.
I like that.
You can come over and visit, but you need to be at your own home by 9:00. Thank you very much.
She doesn't gossip.
No.
She's got her own thing going on.
She's in her lane. She's doing her own thing. You do your own thing.
I like it.
Pass each other in the hall. Yeah, I like her. I think she's a soft girl, an introverted girl.
She reads a lot of books.
She presses
likes
a lot of flowers. She drinks Earl Grey tea, hot. She probably doesn't. She probably drinks one of those like dandelion teas. Where, it drops the like.
It tastes like mud, but
it's not about the drink, Kelly. It's about the aesthetic of that flower blooming at the bottom of your cup in your Instagram mug.
Oh man, I think I'd also give her 6. She's adorable. I love they come in multiple colors. I love that they're pretty friendly. They don't sting you. You can touch them. I mean, don't go out and harass the mason bees. Don't do that. But
don't do that.
You don't have to panic if they land on you or you walk by them.
Again, I think I'll just assume that it's a fly because it's small. And
so, Amanda, you've got a honeybee. You've got a mason bee house. I don't. In the spring, when you see them buzzing around it, are you going to smell it? For the lemon scent?
Oh my gosh, you're so right.
Can you smell it and report back to
smell it? I'm gonna have to. At the risk of inhaling a bee, I'm gonna have to smell
don't snort. Just a gentle sniff.
Well, it's gonna be right next to the pizza oven. All I'm gonna smell is leftover pizza.
Probably true.
There's no lemon on pizza.
You gotta go sniff the house and then tell us how it is.
I definitely will. They should be coming out anytime because
like March, April.
So by the time this is coming out, maybe we'll have to do a brief update. We'll have to add a last minute update after Derek's edited this episode and be like, okay, now you gotta go smell it, and we'll have a live recording of me. Okay, I'm going out to the backyard. It smells like pine sol out here.
You can do like a live Instagram of you going to the backyard and
I'll just have to record it on my phone and say, if we have a smash cut here, this is where it will be to me in March, smelling beehives.
I think we got everything. We covered the legs. Rotunda's not here to tell us if she likes mason bees. It's just Desi.
Well, Desi, do you like mason bees? I feel like Desi and Mason Bee would get along. They also they will socialize briefly
and then return
to their own homes.
Oh, look at her little face.
There she is.
Desi. Now you got to give her treats. Oh, that was so cute, Des.
So there's a button, Amanda, that says stop recording. That will not end the video. It'll just stop the recording.
But don't Kelly and I have to sing do 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 do. It's a great intro. It can't be stopped. Bugs Need Heroes is created by Derek Conrad and Kelly Zimmerman. Hosted by Amanda Niday and Kelly Zimmerman. Bugs Need Heroes is produced and edited by Derek Conrad. Our music is Ladybug Castle by Roll Music. All character art by Amanda Niday. Got a bug question? Email us at bugsneedheroes@gmail.com. Check us out on bugsneedheroes.com for the visual companion to our episodes with the artwork of the bug-related heroes. We also have an Instagram, Twitter, and subreddit under the Bugs Need Heroes name. Thanks for coming by. This is doing computers. Okay.